Hey, welcome to Mayhem News Live Weekly. It's the 17th, and hope everybody's having a good Saturday. Going to be a pretty good show. Got a lot of interesting news today. So we're going to be covering TNA and SmackDown and some headlines as well. So we'll get started here so we can get everything in. Let's see. Per The Sun, this is a UK website. It's thesun.co.uk. Hulk Hogan has hinted that he has hung up his wrestling boots. Now, don't get me wrong. You know, I believe, some of the things he's done in the past. And, whoopsie. I agree that, he changed wrestling. Him and Vince McMahon and a bunch, and then it began to grow, the people that were helping change it. But the things that he's done lately, I don't know. To me, he's made wrestling, it just seems like him being there. I don't like him now, okay? So we can only hope that he has hung up his wrestling, not only for the people that think that it's time for him to hang him up, but also for his health. We all know that he's had major surgeries and major stuff, so, it's time for him to go. And Seth says hello. Yeah. And per Mashable.com, WWE has created a social hub with photos, videos, and other posts by fans and stars. It will be built around the SummerSlam access this weekend and will include live chats among fans and stars. WWE will be using Google Glass for the first time, as the host Miz will actually be wearing it throughout the week up until SummerSlam takes place tomorrow. So, that's pretty big. I still think they need to come down on their price a little bit, but, hey. And what about the people that, I'll send that to Mashable anyway. Menoudos will appear at SummerSlam for a special Divas match at the SummerSlam Access. Natalya and her will take on Brie Bella and a partner of her choosing. Like, we don't know who she's going to pick. I guess, she's appeared before, so they decided, hey, we get a little star action. They are in California. WWE and E has extended the debut season to 14 episodes for Totally Divas after the show's series reaches a high of 1.7 million total viewers for last night's Sunday show. That's better than TNA. Anyway, and pretty close. Pretty close to most of other WWE's viewing audience. So, former WWE Diva champion Eve Torres will be making appearances for WWE at their SummerSlam events this weekend. This was per PWInsider.com, and it was also on Gurrec.net too. So, The Rock has stated that wrestling is not out of the question. Right now, he's focusing on his basically his acting career, but he has not wrote off wrestling, and is apparently willing to continue with that wrestling, if the opportunity arises. The big story this week is WWE's Darren Young. He's a member of the Primetime Players. While answering questions from TMZ about, basically the question was, could a gay wrestler could he succeed? He or she could succeed in WWE. Darren Young basically stated absolutely. He continued, look at me, I'm a WWE superstar, and to be honest with you, I'll tell you right now, I'm gay, I'm happy, I'm very happy. Young has been supported by Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. Not only that, but WWE via Twitter. Cena supported him when asked by the same reporter, TMZ, as he got off of the plane to go to SummerSlam. That's great, good for him. So, he's getting positive reactions from not only the boss, which, you know, it's not like they're gonna openly, you know, but apparently, you know, this right here might open up some things for some other stars down in the future. So, you know, I watched the live feed for 2K14, WWE's new game coming out. Two of the men that they allowed us to see that are going to be part of the 30-year roster for the WrestleMania 30 years of WrestleMania is Macho Man and Ultimate Warrior. Now, other than the Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man looked like he could pretty much walk out of the screen and come back to life. I mean, he was really realistic. Now, I would say that the Ultimate Warrior character was that way, didn't look that way because he is a, you know, they had him looking like he used to with the big hair, and he was kind of a cartoon character in real life. You know, he was, you know, over the top, you know, out there just boom, 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 boom. And, you know, I think that's why he didn't look as realistic as Macho Man. They're supposed to do some more today. Someone I know on Twitter actually said that he saw a sneak peek, and that maybe the Roddy Piper wasn't there. I mean, you're going to have a WrestleMania game that's going to focus on WrestleMania and not have Roddy Piper in it. I agree with him. You know, I agree with Brian. I just don't. Seth, go sit in your chair, say hello, and go sit in your chair and watch SpongeBob. You hear me? Thank you. Yes, I know you want to say hello. Seth has always got to say hello. Anyway, but I agree with him. I believe with Brian. I don't believe it until I see it that he's not in there. So, okay, Brooke Hogan has been fired and released from TNA. Now the release was mutual. It was agreed upon. Hogan was there, apparently, in the meeting when they discussed it. Her contract is basically considered a luxury. There's something they can't really afford right now, which says something for the state of things. That, I mean, because they can't be paying her much, you know, because she's not wrestling. She's just there. And I'll say this, Dixie, you fired the wrong one. You should have let Hogan go home. I mean, Brooke was, you know, Hogan's not wrestling either. I know, he's Hulk Hogan. I know, he's got a big draw. Well, I'm Southern. I got a big draw, too. You don't see me on TNA. So, anyway. Got off track there for a minute. Anyway, it seems that Hogan and his daughter agreed with the release due to her needing to focus on other projects. Now, I believe if they could have left off the part that they got rid of her because they couldn't afford her. Why didn't I just tell her? Why not just say, hey, she has a music career she's trying to work on. She wants to go focus on that. Would that not make more sense? Without putting all this stuff in here, well, we can't afford her contract is a luxury. We can't afford it. She could have easily just bowed out. I mean, and we have a big question again this week, so even though I usually don't do but one a week, but we had to kind of something come up that needed to be answered, so we'll get to that later. But I mean, instead of making it a big thing about her pay, which we know they're not paying much anyway, unless, you know, Hogan's like, you know, hey, you're gonna pay my daughter so much, or, you know, she's not gonna come anyway. We don't know how much her salary is anyway, but they couldn't have been paying her too much because she's not a wrestler. You know, why not just say, hey, she's going back to do some things with her music career. She's not going to be here a while. Now, they did talk about that she may possibly return. So we'll see at a later date if TNA survives that long. TNA drops and reschedules the Minute Mafia versus 8's 5-on-5 match. And it was basically because Kurt Angle was arrested for a DUI, which turned into a DWI. And because of that arrest, entered a DUI rehab center. You know, basically went into a rehab center, and he couldn't be there, so it was kind of hard to say, you know, that he could. They couldn't have done the match, so they basically rescheduled it, which means they'll probably find somebody to replace. Okay, we're going to move on to Impact Wrestling. This was Hardcore Justice. It's another one of their super shows. I want to tell them that they're doing it a little too often. They should have a super show once a month. Because you get, it's a super show, it's a super show. Even Raw and SmackDown learned that. You know, now they don't even call it a super show. I can say with this show, it had a more of a pay-per-view feel. The audience was into it a little more. I don't know if it was just location or what. But it starts off with a big BFG series ladder match. There's 20 points on the line. The 20 points was basically on a clipboard hanging above the match. It was Aries versus Kazarian versus Styles versus Hardy. It was an action-packed match. I mean, hey, you had Jeff Hardy in there. You know, hell, him, Edge, and Christian, you know, pretty much started the ladder match business. So, and not to mention Matt Hardy. You know, so, but, you know, Rude and Daniels interfering with an apple teeny to Hardy's face to give Kazarian the chance to get the win in the 20 points. Main Event Mafia and Dixie Carter, after we came back for commercial, were in the ring, and they send well wishes and support to Kurt Angle while he was in rehab. And of course, they were interrupted by, you know, the Aces and Eights. Basically, they come out and say, look, there's 5 of us and only 4 of you, so one of you, and they talk about it, each one of them like they're going to send him home. And you know, they get to Magnus, and Magnus says, you shouldn't be worried about a future match, you should be worried about your immediate future, is me putting my face in your fist. Which, you know, they'd already got Dixie Carter out of the ring, coming, you know, basically got into a little fisticuffs, and the Aces and Eights out on top again, you know, for that minute. Of course, you know, it's 5-on-4, you know, anyway. They move on. We got ODB versus Gail Kim versus Mickie James in a hardcore rules match. The Knockouts did some pretty good hits with a kendo stick. The kendo stick was basically all the weapons that were used. No chairs, no garbage cans, or nothing like that. Other than the use of ODB's extra bra she had on, which... ODB. Anyway, you know, which was actually hilarious. I like her and Eric Young. I don't care what anybody says. Which ODB comes out on for the win, you know, which Mickie James didn't appreciate, and I know Gail Kim didn't. So, but Rampage and Joe go out to ask. We all knew who he was going to ask. We knew he was going to ask after Aries basically told Sting he wasn't going to do it. Tito to take Angle's spot. They're interrupted by Bully and Anderson, who get Tito pissed. And I already smell the rat. I already seen it was coming. You know what's going. They had a BFG's tables match with Anderson versus Rude versus Magnus versus Samoa Joe. This match actually replaced the 5-on-5 match. It was a brutal match. Basically, with Rude for the win, with an assist to the Appletini and Daniels. I see a trend, don't you? Anyway, it's terrible, but it's true. We had a World Heavyweight Champion, a steel cage match with Bully Ray versus Sabin. And like I said, I smelt a rat. I mean, you can't expect... They couldn't expect us to believe what they were hinting at. Anyway, the match was all Bully in the first. Pretty much he whooped Sabin from one end of the ring to the other, one side to the other. Sabin did get a couple of... flashes in the pan, though. He started kind of getting on there just as he was about to escape the ring to retain the title. Anderson comes out, slams the gate shut, which you almost know that anytime anybody tries to go out the gate the first time, somebody's going to slam it shut. Happens in WWE, it happens in TNA. And if I'd probably been watching ROH wrestling longer than a couple of weeks, you know, it probably happened there too. So, but that basically, you know, allows Bully to basically regain his composure. And then you've got Rampage, and Tito comes out and throws Anderson aside, and that's when Tito pulls out the hammer, and then we see the rat for who he is. It's Tito Ortiz. We knew they weren't going to be on the same side because they're facing each other in November. It was so predictable. It was really pitiful. So in the predictability score which is something I'm going to start doing, TNA actually has a higher predictability score than WWE. It was so predictable. We all knew that Tito was going to turn on. He wasn't going to be on anybody's side on the main event Mafia. You know, we knew that. The fact that Bully Ray come out and confronting him first, it just screamed swerve. So this allows Bully to get the win with the Bully Bomb and the title. The big question this week, actually this is the second big question this week. Okay, earlier in this show, which I didn't talk about, but Bully's on the phone talking to Brooke, telling her that everyone will know the truth next week. Everybody will know. You know, there's been a big thing that she was going to actually side with Bully Ray and was actually working in the background for him this whole time. Now, with that said, you know, the question is, with Brooke gone, does this mean she'll appear that one last time and then, you know, Bully Ray for her protection, you know, or we'll send her packing, or will Hogan actually fire her on TV to make it look legit, you know, even though we're all going to know it's not legit? That's the big question. Or will they assume that we're all going to catch amnesia and forget that little segment of Bully Ray talking on the phone to Brooke? We'll just have to see next week. And here's for the 5-on-5 match. If they do get 5-on-5, who's gonna disappear? Who's gonna lose? Get pinned? I don't see Sting going anywhere unless he's actually planning on coming to the WWE. I don't see, you know, I don't see Magnus going anywhere. I don't see Joe going anywhere. So you've got two scenarios. Either Rampage or Tito is going to get pinned and have to leave TNA, which their fight's in November, so the only reason they were actually on here is to promote the fight. Now that's scenario one. That's the most likely one. Or is this TNA's way of getting rid of some trash, or not really trash, but, you know, lesser talent? Garrett Bischoff, excuse me. Because, I mean, you know, I don't really like Briscoe either, but he's a Briscoe. I still say he looks like Hogan's former bodyguard, the guy that used to come out with the biker gear on in NWO. But anyway, you know, he is a Briscoe. He actually knows how to wrestle. And as far as Garrett Bischoff, his dad was Eric Bischoff. Ugh. Anyway. So there's your two scenarios. This is what I expect to see. One of those two scenarios will happen. If Tito or them gets picked, we know that's what they were doing. And then the other one will stay in just to keep the noise up about the fight in November. And you'll probably have some tape segments from whoever got removed. You know, yeah, well, when we get there in November, I'm going to kick your, you know. Anyway. Moving on to SmackDown. I'll be honest, I didn't have time to watch a lot of SmackDown. I had to kind of hurry through it. So I kind of reviewed the notes with WWE on WWE.com. So it was actually a pretty good show. You know, I really think it was a pretty good show. Kane goes after the Wyatts right off the bat. Bray Wyatt. This was after Bray Wyatt told him that he would show Kane at SummerSlam that one man's hell is another man's paradise. Of course, you know, he did pretty good. He was actually going to get his hands on Wyatt, but of course, you know, 3-on-1. So Kane is eventually a victim of the numbers game and is left lying in the ring. Christian defeats Sandow in a quick match. It was just a flat. I mean, it was over before it was just like boom. Not really much to talk about. Christian does continue his role, you know. So AJ and Layla defeat Natalya and Caitlyn. This doesn't bode well for AJ and Big E with the continuing winning streak by AJ on the televised shows. This usually means a pay-per-view loss, statistically speaking. Now, if you look at wrestling history, a lot of times, especially WWE history, if you win a lot on the program, 9 times out of 10 you're going to lose at the pay-per-view. So I mean, it's not a title match, so AJ could actually lose this match and not be not lose her title or change the storyline. So And it would actually, if she is pinned by Caitlyn, it would actually open up for Caitlyn to get another title shot. So, you know, WWE continues to make Ryback an idiot bully. I'm fed up with that. You know, I don't mind watching him wrestle, but, you know, the bully crap in the back is just... the Shield actually faced defeat as Big Show returns to the ring for the first time since his injury with RVD and Mark Henry, and basically the Shield found out that the Big Show is in his house, to borrow a phrase from the Snoop Dogg. Anyway, Big Show is stacked, y'all. I swear to God, the dude, his arms are almost 3 times bigger than what they were. They have to be 3 times bigger. Sit down. And I just think that I hope they actually use him. You know, he is a nearly 7 foot, if not over, foot person, and I mean, use him right. You know, give him a big storyline and let him run with it. Hell, team up him and Mark Henry and do some stuff like you did with Kane and The Undertaker. That would be wise. Anyway, Miz defeats Jack, We the People Swagger after Cesaro and Coulter were removed from the ringside, and I mean, it's good to see them allowing the Miz to win, not sticking him in pre-show hell, which they're going to have him host SummerSlam. Axel defeated Ryder, surprising. Ryder, you know, it was good to see him on TV, but with Paul Heyman responding to CM Punk's attack on Raw, he admitted that CM Punk outsmarted him, and that's pretty big coming from Paul Heyman, and said that it's going to redefine the match at SummerSlam. And I think that's going to be a match. That's one of the matches that's getting me thinking I'm going to get the pay-per-view. That one, Daniel Bryan and Cena, and yeah, those are the main 2. There's a couple more that show interest, but those are the main 2. Not to mention to see Triple H and Vince McMahon's effect on the match between Daniel Bryan and Cena. There has been a report, and I hate these little I guess you could call them dirt sheets, who put in their Twitter thing when they say something. One of them tweeted that Cena's leaving the WWE, and hold on, I'll find you something. Cena's leaving the WWE. Well, there's only one problem with that. Cena, he does have something going on. He does have an elbow issue, and if he's leaving the WWE, you know, he's only leaving to have that surgery, and there is talk that he may be out for, you know, the word that they used was several months, but we don't know that for sure when it's going to happen. It's obvious it's going to happen because his elbow is swole up like a baseball, you know. So now this would make you think that Daniel Bryan would actually win the match and take the title, you know, away from Cena. So we'll just have to see, you know, as usual. Bryan versus Barrett, the last match of the night, with a no DQ match. McMahon took the ref out during the no lock to keep the match from ending. Maddox tries to come out and refuses to count to allow Bryan to win. He inadvertently gets hit by a kendo stick, and Triple H comes out to give Bryan the win. And you know, I'm pretty sure that Vince McMahon was, you know, I'm pretty sure, not in real life, but he was pretty ticked off that Triple H comes out and interferes that way. So, you know, it's going to be interesting. That's why I say their impact on that match is going to be big. I'm pretty sure both of them is going to be Vince McMahon's going to eventually end up out at ringside. Just going to Goldust is going to be in Rockford, Illinois today. He's doing some wrestling down there. You can look at his Twitter feed to see when, because I'll be honest, I forgot to write it down. Now we're going to go over some sponsor stuff. One of our main sponsors, Zach Pack Promotions. That is Z-Pack Promotions on Twitter, Zach Pack Promotions on Facebook. If you want to check out their webpage, it's www.zachpackpromotions.com. And they're having a Busting for Autism show in November. It'll be the 16th and the 17th. Got a lot of stuff going on. You can actually purchase the ability to sit down and have dinner with some of the people that's going to be there. I know Goldust is sold out. As far as I know, everybody else has some openings left. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, you name it. I mean, there's going to be so many people there. It's going to be just the wrestlers would be a wrestling fan's, dream. Stop throwing stuff, son. You want me to turn it off? Don't do that, okay? My son loves to throw stuff. Anyway, but if you want to get with them, Zach Pack is also doing, they're promoting for Dustin Rose 1, that's his Twitter account, Taking Care of Business Tour. For info, you can email zachpackpromotions@gmail.com. And Goldust actually talks about them in his Twitter feed. My wife's is our second sponsor, FightDisabilitySlurs.wordpress.com. She is trying to fight disability slurs, basically slurs in general, racial, gay and lesbian, anything negative should be stopped. Throttle, the song you heard when we first started, that is New Blood by Throttle. They are providing our theme song, and we want you to try to, if you want to listen to some good music, their singles and all our albums can be found on iTunes now. You can also be looking out, you can listen to this show, or you can follow them at Official Throttle on Twitter. They're having a new album coming out, Razor Wire Finish Line, I'll say it right in a minute. And as soon as it comes out, we are going to be doing some stuff with them, hopefully giving some prizes away by our Twitter account and the show itself. So I just want to thank everybody that's been keeping our views up on YouTube. If you want to follow us on Twitter, we used to have 2 pages. I've moved the mayhem-news.com site to another server so we can do a lot more stuff. The mayhemnewslive.wordpress.com is actually still open, but it will not be updated anymore. I'm combining the 2 sites. It's just a logical thing, to borrow a Vulcan phrase, to do. And you can find us at on Facebook at Mayhem News Live. You can also find us at Mayhem News Live with the first letter of each word capitalized. And the thing for Twitter is actually the same thing as our YouTube channel. We also have a Google. You can watch either mine, that's at Team Lives. I actually post it every Friday. We have a community where you can actually discuss with the people on the show. Right now it's just me, but I do have other co-hosts. We had a computer issue, and I'm sorry, real life comes before show, so I had to do some things with the little boy and everything. So I just want to let everybody know I appreciate everybody coming to watch the show. And if you have anything that you want us to talk about, you'll be welcome to email us at mayhemnewslive@gmail.com. That's mayhemnewslive@gmail.com, or you can tweet me or the show at mayhemnewslive or at tmiblives. That's TMIBLIVES. I appreciate it. I'm going to let Throttle take us on out of here. Enjoy your weekend. Love your family. Keep them close. With the crazy world that we live in now, it's always a good thing to do so. And also, just a security warning. If you're taking pictures of your children, make sure you turn off the sharing, where it shares your location. There's been some people that are finding out where kids are, and where they spend a lot of their time. And we live in a bad world. Also, if you have a internet camera that you use to watch your children in your home, make sure that it has a very large and complicated passcode to it, so it cannot be hacked. And same thing with your router. So I'm going to let Throttle take us out. That's been the show for today. Y'all have a good day.